and beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. You human.
Good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to another episode of Government and Public Service Reports on Atlantic Television Network. News, events, and stories abound in the state system. ATN's appetite for and factual reportage is the driving principle for this program in order to bring government activities to the doorstep. Now, let's go through the highlights of today's report. In River State, APC holds 1 million march for Tinubu. In Oyo State, Governor approves recruitment of 333 traffic managers. In Kano State, Sanusi reinstated as Emir of Kano. And federal governments to begin local production of military equipment. We will go on a short break, and when we return, we go straight to the details.
It's no agreement with the EU, but
Get ready as Morrison Communications Limited proudly presents Children's Day Celebration 2024.
La Small Hotel and Resort. Number 9, Rumukala off. Waterlines bus. Port Hackett. On Saturday, May 25th, starting at 8 a.m. into school march pass competition,
Dance competition, drama, parents,
like. Don't miss out on the fun with Uncle Clown bouncing castle as we cut the children's day. It's just 2,000 naira per child. For participation and sponsorship opportunities, call us now 0806 673 8689 and 0810 634 1777.
This event is proudly sponsored by
Excel International Magazine, Nigeria Brewery, Indomie, The Scented Room,
the Last Mall Hotel and Resort with Atlantic Television Network and 99.5 Lesuka Event Center, Gate Place Hotel, 8 Ball Hotel and Lounge, Oma Studio, Osgia Table Water. Remember that every child is unique. See you there. This event is managed by Pace Expressions Arts.
special guest appearing, Hilda Dokumo, Children's Day Celebration 2024.
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just a jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody got it. Hello.
Why you ask go?
Because this road where they see so you no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so e no dey. Light o usa. The infrastructure nko. The content to be forbidden fruit for the
Corruption. Spoil everything. Hello?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honorable students, you human trafficker. Honorable students, you
Government and Public Service reports in the beautiful city of Port Harcourt. Now we dive into the details for today. Stakeholders in the All Progressive Congress in River State, support groups, non-indigents of the party in River State held a 1 million man march in the state in support and thank you to the visionary leadership of President Bola Tinubu. Administration marks 1 year in office. The stakeholders from across the 23 local government areas in River State walked the streets of Port Harcourt, singing praises of President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope. Positive results across the country. Speaking at the APC State Secretariat in Port Harcourt on Thursday, Chairman APC Caretaker Committee, Sir Tony Okocha, thanked President Bola Tinubu for his support and the appointment of Nyesom Wike as the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. The APC chairman further called on the governor of River State, the former governor of River State, Nyesom Wike, to come over to the All Progressive Congress and lead the party to another victory come 2027. Okay.
That 001 was responsible for the victory of Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in River State. That 001 is a reformer. That 001 is a dean of policies of Nigeria. The other reason I told them I gave to them was the fact that this man called Wike is a game changer. He has a Midas touch. And I remember, you people will remember that we have been wooing him to come over to Messiah to help us. This is again one of those attempts to woo him to come over to ABC and help us so that we will continue to win election for Mr. President. Particularly when election come for 2027.
Consequently, the APC Caretaker Committee Chairman, Sir Tony Okocha, also took a swipe on the activities of the Governor of River State, where he regretted how the state governor is using his position to cause problems in the state, as well as abusive words that is capable of instigating violence. Okocha, who asked the governor to allow the 27 House of Assembly members, led by Martins Amewule, to function freely according to the law, accusing him of involving ethnicity in Rivers politics, brought him to power, acted without ethnic sentiment. The governor to release the allocation of the 27 local government chairmen in order to avoid looming anarchy in the state.
And whilst his matters are in court, he is taking the law. Hands. These assembly members will for them. They are not disappointees. And worst case is that they are members of the All Progressive Congress. With the assembly under the speakership, very vibrant and erudite speakership of Right Honorable Martin Chike and Mewen, SSRS, stand behind him and his 26 other colleagues. The governor, because of his inordinate desperation, and the assembly of 3 members out of 32 seats that we have. So we caution him to tread on the path of the law and never to take the laws into his hands.
Also speaking at the event, APC women leader in Rivers State, Rita Jumbo, cautioned the Rivers State governor to apologize for disregard in government.
As a mother, I'm part of our governor, Sim Fubara, the humanizing and eliminating of women of Rivers State. As women of Rivers State, we are women of substance. But we were all aware that our governor and God dragged our women on the streets naked.
There is more news, but don't forget you can connect with us and watch us on ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website on www.atlanticnetwork.tv. The State Police Command Force has declared 13 persons wanted over an alleged threat to peace in Yenagoa, the state's capital city. The state's police public relations officer, ASP Musa Mohammed, in a statement said the 13 suspects are guilty of conducting a youth election that threatened the peace of the state. After the police had earlier issued a warning that preparations and all related activities towards the conduct of a PA Atisa Youth Council be suspended. The statement also said the state capital will not compromise its security and peace due to the actions of unruly youths who are unable to reach a simple understanding through civil processes. Adding that all processes related to the PA Atisa are suspended. The command therefore urges all parties to remain calm and adhere to this directive to ensure the continuous safety and harmony of the community. Analysts commended the Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo for the move to resolve issues regarding the minimum wage implementation for the workers in the state. Speaking on Atlantic blowout, a socio-political analyst, Abel Abraham, lauded Governor Charles Soludo for taking urgent steps at resolving issues that will make a pathway of emulation for other state governors across the country.
Trying to create a pathway for all the governors to tread. And I must commend him because I think other states are shying away from having even a closed-door meeting with the N.
Abel Abraham also advised state governors to adopt an open door policy to discuss the well-being of civil servants.
We are not ready for that. We can't afford your demands, so most of them don't even want to hold those meetings. For him to even go at length, having these closed-door meetings and coming to a conclusion of a lot of things were trashed out and some things were up for them to consider is a kudos to him. And I believe, coming from someone that worked with CBN, maybe you understand where these people are complaining, their complaints, you understand all those things they are bringing to the table. So I'm hoping, I'm praying this thing should come to reality.
The Labour Congress and Trade Union of Nigeria issued a 7-day strike notice to Soludo over his refusal to fully implement the 2019 minimum wage policy. The Anambra State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chuma-Ude, has mourned the death of a pupil of the landmark international school, Mbako, in Awka North local government area of the state. Master Henry Okonkwo, who was reportedly beaten to coma by a teacher. Correspondents gathered that the boy gave up the ghost in the early hours of Wednesday. Newsmen had reported that the 30-year Chumaude had expressed sadness over the development, lamenting that the chances of the victim's survival, according to a medical doctor, in admission was 20%. She said the school was running illegally, describing the development as a crime running an illegal school in the state, as well as beating a child. The commissioner warned that perpetrators were doing so at their peril. Admitted to flogging the child, however, stated that the flogging was not as severe as the picture was painted. The matter was handed over to the police for an investigation, while the child was in the intensive care unit of the hospital, from where he lamented the death of the boy, saying he was a boy like any other with hopes and aspirations. The Enugu State Police Command has announced the arrest and arraignment of a masquerader for allegedly assaulting a woman in the Nsukka area of the state. A statement by the command spokesperson, DSP Daniel Ndukwe, on Thursday said the masquerader was intercepted and escorted. According to Ndukwe, the masquerader, popularly known as Oriopa, was cited physically assaulting a female victim at Ugoye Junction, Nsukka, when the operative Oke Ebube, aged 22, had been arraigned in court on Wednesday in Nsukka, even as he said the court later granted him bail. The police spokesman, however, quoted the State Commissioner of Police, Kanoya Uzuegbu, to have condemned the act, while warning those intending to hide under the guise of culturally celebrating masqueraders to commit such a criminal act of assaulting fellow citizens to desist forthwith. Given a detailed explanation, Ndukwe said that the investigation carried out by the command into this case indicated that the suspect was part of a group of masqueraders that similarly assaulted a female nurse riding a motorcycle, as captured in a viral video in April 2024. The police spokesperson, however, quoted the State Commissioner of Police The Oyo State Governor Sheyi Makinde on Thursday approved the recruitment of 333 officers into the Oyo State Road Traffic Management Authority. The recruitment was made known in a statement signed by the Commissioner for Information, Dotun Oyelade. The chairman, Major Adeshagba Adekoya, speaking during the screening exercise held at the Badon, said 2,450 applications were received from qualified candidates. He stressed that the screening exercise was a manifestation of the responsive governance of Governor Makinde, who deemed the approval fit to increase the strength of Orutma with 338 officers. The chairman explained that the approval was in pursuance of a revalidated approval policy signed in 2021. He stressed further that qualified applicants at the first stage would move to other stages before the interview session that would be conducted by the Civil Service Commission and the Ministry of Establishment and Training. Earlier, the chairman of the Civil Service Commission, represented by the Senior Administrative Officer on Recruitment, Adelowo Oladapo, commended the state government for the opportunity to reduce unemployment in the state. The Director of Recruitment and Service Matters, Ministry of Establishment and Training, Olushola, was being reinstated to the throne by Governor Abba Yusuf. Yusuf announced the decision on Thursday after signing the Kano State Emirate in addition to Kano in December 2019. The Deputy Speaker, Mohamed Obutu, explained that repealing the law would revive the lost glory of Kano as a division of Kano Emirates. 5. Reduce the capacity and dignity of the state at the national level. The Minister of Women Affairs, Uju Kennedy Ohaneye, on Thursday announced scholarships and gave various gift items to 100 orphan girls in Niger State ahead of their mass wedding today. The mass wedding is being sponsored by the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Abdulmalik Sarkindaji. The minister had kicked against the mass wedding of the young girls, saying it was a violation of the Child Rights Act. Kennedy Ohaneye, who addressed the press conference in Abuja, noted that she had petitioned the Inspector General of Police. In response, the Speaker lambasted the minister for doubling into overlooking any efforts to understand the circumstances that confronted the girls, which made it necessary for their weddings to be sponsored. The Speaker also received the backing of the Niger State Council of Imams and the Muslim Right Concerns, which both warned the minister to steer clear of the mass wedding, which they insisted must go on as scheduled. Ahead of the mass wedding, the minister, represented by her special assistant on private sector, Adaji Usman, was in Niger State to announce scholarships for the girls and to also give them other items such as wrappers and foodstuffs. The items were given out to the 100 girls at the palace of the Emir of Kontagora, Mohammed Muazu. The minister, through Usman, presented 10 point-of-sale machines, 100 wrappers, and 350 bags of 10 kg bags of rice who wish to go to school. Also, the Emir of Kontagora announced the donation of the sewing machine to each of the girls. Kennedy Ohaneye also directed that bank accounts be opened for all the 100 intending brides, where a stipend will be sent to them for the next 6 months to enable them to settle down in their husband's house. She blamed the media for escalating the initial ground and the marriage of the 100 orphans, saying, "I did not intend to stop the marriage, but to be sure if the girls are of marriageable age and were not being forced into it." While thanking the Speaker for the way the issue was handled, the minister promised that the girls would be closely monitored in their various husbands' houses so that the objective of the empowerment would not be defeated. In his remarks, the Emir thanked God for the peaceful resolution of the matter. He disclosed that all the necessary medical tests, including HIV, AIDS, genotype, hepatitis B, and pregnancy tests, were conducted and the results were handed over to the representatives of the minister. Zamfara state government says it will begin payment of 30,000 naira minimum wage to its workers in June. Governor Dauda Lawal, who disclosed this during a meeting with the state chapter of the Nigeria Labour Congress in Gusau, said the decision to implement the payment reflects the state government's commitments to improving workers' welfare. 2019 signed the 30,000 naira minimum wage into law. However, as of October 2023, about 15 states, including Zamfara, Benue, Kebbi, Kwara, were yet to implement the minimum wage. You are watching Government and Public Service Report on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Stay tuned.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing. Honourable human trafficker. Honourable
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old things. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shout beer in our house, I supposed to pay that one. You remember say me and tell go buy you motor.
They agree give us time. Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Guy, you don't ready. I just the last minute. Maybe now you say make a
electrician, make it come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You know electrician?
You're electrician.
Yes, now.
So you said you want join people where be say they no want to pay NEPA bill again, Abi? Oga, you know good now. You don't use you don't behave like tea, all these stiff people.
What you change from your motor? What you change from?
Two lights. Repair gauge. Speedometer.
For what you know, you for come out for home my motor.
Fire now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Honourable human trafficker. Honourable
so no agreement with the EU, but
Welcome back. Was a building. Wike, who took time to marshal out the government's achievements under the FCT, said infrastructure, security, and education had received serious attention, and also recalled that the impact of renewed hope agenda was being felt in the FCT civil service. The National Coordinator, National Counter-Terrorism Center, Office of the National Security Advisor, Major General Adamu Laka, has called for the protection of investigators, witnesses, law enforcement, that this was necessary because of the pivotal roles they play in the prosecution and adjudication of terrorism-related cases. Abu Michael said law in Abuja. Laka also expressed the need for unwavering dedication and collective action in the fight against terrorism and organized crime. Laka, however, called on the countries under the umbrella of the Global Counterterrorism Forum to harness the power of collaboration and cooperation in advancing their shared goals of justice, security, and peace. Counterterrorism involves strategies, practices, and policies implemented to prevent, mitigate, and respond to the acts of terrorism. These efforts are crucial for maintaining national and international security, protecting civilians. No fewer than 6 yet to be identified passengers escaped death in a multiple auto crash that happened on Wednesday opposite the Opik Estate community at the Isheru-Olofin area of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The accident involved a fool who was privy to the crash but pleaded anonymity because he was not permitted to speak to the media. The accident was caused by the diesel truck driver whose vehicle lost control of motion, swerved, and collided. And Omolola Odutula confirmed the incident and said no life was lost in the crash. She said the police officers in that area helped in rescuing the 2 injured victims who are currently responding to treatment. Newsmen had reported that a core member identified as Esla Adams died in an auto crash 6 days before his wedding introduction billed to be held on May 26, 2024, Lafia Road, Nasarawa State. The death of the University of Jos alumnus was also confirmed by his family, who released a statement saying that he would be buried today. The Minister of Works, David Umahi, has disclosed that 750 houses that are on the path of the Lagos-Calabar Coast Highway have been marked for demolition. He revealed this during a meeting with stakeholders in Lagos on Thursday. According to that President Tinubu had been invited to flag off the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. However, landlords of the affected property were displeased with the government's compensation, claiming it did not match their investment. According to them, the compensation is grossly inadequate and there is a need for the government to review the payment. The president of Total Energy Staff Cooperative Society and Total Energy Staff Club, Kajentan Ono, said the compensation paid by the government was insufficient compared to the investments made on the developed property. The founder of Leisure Games, Olarawaju Ojo, who got 1.3 million naira compensation, told the newsmen that the amount was what he could generate in a week. Another compensated property owner of business on the Good Beach, who pleaded anonymity, said the amount was 1/4 of what he submitted. Umahi responded that the government was fair on the issue of compensation. He noted that the compensation being done was a flag off for 10 people, directing the rest of those to be compensated to go to the secretariat of the compensation committee for payment. Umahi had earlier announced 2.75 billion naira in compensation to property owners affected by the demolition necessary for the construction of Listo Highway spanning from Channel 0 to Channel 3. He revealed this information during a stakeholders meeting held in Lagos State on Wednesday. In March, the federal government started constructing the 700-kilometer Lagos-Calabar coastal highway, designed to extend through 9 states, compensating landowners affected by the construction of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Expressway. Umai said that the committee, comprising members drawn from the ministry, Lagos State, affected communities, and other responsibilities that included verifying the eligibility of claimants, assessing the dimension of affected properties, and determining the appropriate compensation amounts. House of Representatives has queried the Ministry of Health on disengagement of the local contractor in a $100 million loan agreement between Nigeria and the Islamic Development Bank meant to address the challenge of malaria in the country. In a stakeholders meeting to address the matter, Chairman of the Committee on HIV and AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria, expressed displeasure and that succor that was expected through the intervention did not happen after signing the agreement in 2022. In a meeting organized to address the logjam that seemed to have crippled the implementation of the Islamic Bank loan to support malaria elimination in Nigeria under the Lives and Livelihood Project, Minister of Health, Professor Mohammed Pate, was directed to provide a comprehensive report of the transactions pertaining to the agreement to the committee within 2 weeks. The report is expected to explain in detail why the local vendors approved for the agreement were disqualified and not given access to the job. The project aims to reduce under 5 mortality rate.
If UNOPS here can tell us, as a country, that they cannot tell us what the local manufacturer have done that made them to disqualify this local manufacturer. See, the reason why all of us are here is because of one thing: Nigeria. If it's a grant or aid, we won't spend interest. That is the pain. If we don't pay this money, our children will still pay for it.
The federal government said on Thursday that the country was poised to begin local production of military equipment with the recent signing of the Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria bill by President Tinubu. The Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, said following the signing of the bill, the federal government had been in talks with about 50 local and international firms for local productions of firearms in the country. According to him, already 13 of the firms have begun production of firearms in Nigeria. Badaru, who spoke on Thursday at the ministerial sectorial update in Abuja, added that Nigeria had made significant progress in the fight against terrorism in the last 1 year under the Tinubu administration. According to the minister, the military in the last 1 year killed 9,300 insurgents and arrested 7,000 others. This feat, he said, was made possible by the close synergy among service chiefs under President Tinubu. According to him, the synergy, which increased military productivity and translated into laudable achievements in the last 1 year. Badaru, who spoke in Abuja on Thursday, said the synergy among the service chiefs was different from what was obtained in the past. In an effort by the military to boost oil production in the country, no fewer than 1,437 suspects had been arrested and 363 killed in the last 1 year. He noted that as a result of the ongoing operations against oil theft, most of the illegal refineries are down. Badaru said the president has been eager to see an end to see an end to insecurity in the country, approved the recruitment of more personnel into the military to increase its manpower, and has directed the full deployment of technology to end insurgency in the country. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken local brewery, on Monday announced that about $16.6 billion investment had been committed to Nigeria's oil and gas sector in the past 1 year. He spoke in Abuja while providing updates and achievements in the oil sector since President Bola Tinubu assumed office on May 29, 2023. Also, during an earlier meeting with the Chief Executive Officer, Schlumberger Limited, Olivia Lepoche, Lokbobri revealed that the federal government would soon seal a $20 billion deal to boost oil and gas production in Nigeria. Lokbobri has pointed out that Nigeria witnessed increased crude oil production since Tinubu assumed office. On steps taken to increase crude oil production include, Lokbobri stated that efforts were made towards revamping oil assets to active status. He said there was continuous engagement in independent petroleum producers group members and resolving industry disputes towards increasing production. Earlier, while playing host to a delegation, Lokbobri said the federal government was set to seal a deal worth $20 billion with investors to boost oil and gas production in Nigeria. The minister said the partnership with Schlumberger is significant, as the firm has made impact in Nigeria's oil and gas industry in the last 71 years. On his part, he expressed optimism that the firm would work with Nigeria to boost oil and gas investments across. This is where we wrap it up on today's edition of Government and Public Service Report on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. On our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic Television TV Network 1, X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Divine Bernard. Have a good day.
Illegally. That is amazing. Honourable you human trafficker. Honourable